And welcome to This Week in Hospitality Marketing, live show number 573. I'm your host, Lauren Gray. Thank you so much for joining me. Sorry for the partial delay in our starting of the live show as we see everyone beginning to come online. Thanks so much for following on our TV channel, our smart TV channel, hospitality channel, which you can get on your Apple TV, Google TV, Amazon TV, Fire Sticks, Google Chrome, all that stuff, as well as smart TV, Samsung's, LG, so forth. Just look for the Roku Hospitality channel on your smart TV channel selection. Find it, and the live show is always on that side. And also for everyone watching us on the simulcast on Facebook, on association pages there, and also corporate pages. So everyone that loves the show that shares with us, thank you so much for simulcasting us on, like I said, Facebook, LinkedIn, which is on my profile, YouTube, and Twitch if you use that as a medium. Okay, so that being said and done, today's concept I thought would be a fun discussion and relatively brief, but I'm sitting there going, actually, it's a much deeper conversation in some ways. The topic is AI and creativity. Are they mutually exclusive or inclusive? And what inspired this topic for me out of discussions with our Hospitality Marketing Club, which if you're a hospitality marketer, go to hospitalitymarketing.club, sign up, and join peer level group to discuss things like this and a bunch of other stuff, solutions and questions. Was we're seeing more and more AI being used to generate ads. And as people get more and more comfortable with the usability, as more and more platforms provide some sort of usability within it to do it, we're seeing simple things like static images turning into motion images. We're seeing static images changed so that they can be seasonally represented, demographically represented, interest differences. And when I say that, for instance, you have a static picture of a glamour shot of your lobby, and now you want to say, well, I want to tailor to a certain age group, family group, or whatever have you, and you have AI put characters into those images, maybe stilled at first, and then maybe you begin to animate them. Maybe you want your lobby to look like it does during Christmas, or that it's in Christmas, what have you. These usages of AI are beginning to come in. Those I think are great. Those are wonderful new use values of what AI is. I wouldn't call AI in that sense being creative. It's looking specifically at what you're wanting to do and providing it. I'm writing a note for myself because of that. Just popped my head, man, I gotta do that. Tells you that it's live. The idea of that I want to talk about today is the concept of AI as being creative, or is it not? And is it where it's mutually exclusive, meaning they can't exist together? AI can't work in the spectrum of creativity. Or is it inclusive, where it is just really a variation to the ability to create? Now, in the argument that AI is not creative, you can simply say it doesn't have an imagination, it doesn't dream, AI doesn't experience inspiration, it doesn't have an interpretation of what's considered beautiful, it doesn't have a temperament as to what's acceptable. It only can create what it's based on, and what it's based on is what we've already created. Creativity is the inspiration to go beyond what's currently present into something new. Let me give you some crossover examples. We are beginning to see in quite regular form a lot of ads that have speakers, which are clearly avatars. Their lip sync is not exactly perfect yet. It's pretty dang close compared to how it first started. Oh my gosh. Before it was really completely, drastically like, wow, that's a animation created avatar, and the dialogue isn't matching any emotions, the gestures aren't there, or the mouth isn't there. And we've progressed so far from that. And you begin to notice similar audio tracks, popular audio tracks, female voices, male voices that are used because they're on the same platform that other people use. So they like the same voice that you used for your ads. So you create an AI ad with an AI avatar, with whatever it is that you've told it to have as an AI backdrop. And here is the transcript that you wanted to read, and it creates the avatar engagement with your transcript with the voice that you've chosen. And right now, we're still able to pull that out of a hat. It's sometimes you're impressed with the quality of some of these, but there's still something about it a shade that isn't right, a color that doesn't seem natural, a backdrop that doesn't quite reference a real place, maybe. Again, familiarity of an audio, what have you. And although it seems creative in what has been done, it's really the AI was reliant upon what the human creatively decided to do, and the AI simply produced, via the limitation of the human, what it was interpreting as the request. That's not creativity. That's adaptive. Okay, that's using what you want creatively into the scenario that you're wanting to create it. That is not creativity. The creativity I'm talking about is similar to Amazon's logo, where it has what looks like a little smile, but it's actually an arrow going from A to Z, also indicative of the fact that Amazon has everything from A to Z. Like to teach the world to sing and perfect harmony and drink a Coke and all this other stuff. The creative, emotional touchstone that it had back in the day when it was released. Maxell's cassette tape ad that had the guy sitting in the chair with the audio being so clear and strong, the intent of it, that creativeness of it, that his glass of wine began to slide, and he had to pick it up and do it, and his tie's flapping and his hair's flapping. That creative aspect of it, the double entendre of ads, because creatively it made a message, but it gave a deeper message. Those are not AI; those are human, and because of that, I find it hard to say that AI, in its current form of use, is being creative. When we create ad sets for what we're doing for our clients, we're creating variations to a message. And we're trying to decide what is it that are the components that we need. And as we get better at our targeting of what we're doing, and AI can even help us saying, hey, look, the current people that are coming to your hotel, they're demographically this, geographically this, price threshold, this, whatever. It can give you wonderful persona generations based on their affinity for certain brands. This is the old persona things. It can really try to outline in targeted format what it is that who you're trying to reach for what you're trying to sell at that particular time. It can help with the interpretation of all those targets and declutter to some degree. It still requires a human to prioritize what are the most applicable factors. Like it may say that your feeder market is Chicago, but right now, flight travel is so expensive that the modifier of cost to get to you is prohibitive from people from Chicago. So it's dampening the demand factor from Chicago. You as a human would know this. You, from an AI perspective, would have to give it that data set and prioritize it at a level it understood to influence its prescriptive statement of you saying you should target Chicago. We had this discussion last week on prescriptive modeling. But AI's creativity would be based on those factors. If you said, okay, AI, with all the factors you just told me is targeting, create an ad that would reflect to that audience my product for what I'm trying to sell. And it would put all those factors together. In so doing, it may not, again, make it in such a realistic way that a human wouldn't look at it going, that's really not a hotel lobby. Is that the real hotel lobby? That person's not real. And we get distracted with what was produced from AI because we're looking to see if it's AI or real creatively. The real discerning difference of it being creative is it could be AI generated, but what you created with it can be creative. The concept, the slogans, the storyboard of the ad itself can be very creative, but that wouldn't necessarily have been AI that did that, okay? What AI does, it expands the possibility of what you can do. It opens up past the limitations of the creative person to have tools, make this scenario, make this visualization, make this audio, make these types of things where they're not a graphic artist, they're not a videographer, what have you, but now they have the freedom. I've referred to this a lot with a lot of the AI music generation. There's polarity as to people's perspective of AI music. And I'm in the camp that's somewhere in the middle of where I don't say AI music is as good as or the same as human generated music. And that comes from the music that I love from the 80s and then so forth. It's that there's emotion, there's connection to it, there's a lot of things, I tie to because of music inspires the time that you heard it and so forth. But the creativity of the lyrics, the music, the mood and the emotion that it invokes. AI music sounds good and it does a lot of great things. Um, but it still sounds AI. You can still know that the voice is synthesized, even though you may do sampling and use sampling. It's still, you know that it's been worked with. It's not a real person singing those notes at that time that way. But the creativity of the AI music is profoundly fun and interesting. For somebody that doesn't know how to read music, write music, or play music, the ability to take a musical idea and conceptualize what lyrics I want, and then put it into the kind of music that I want it to be performed as, and then to produce something that I like and that I can manipulate and refine and change to a song that I now it's like, man, this is great. This is a song about something I wanted in a music genre that I wanted, with an artist sounding that I liked, and so forth. It's fun in the context of knowing what it is. AI wasn't the creative aspect. It was creative how it resolved what I was looking to make. Like it may have helped me with harmonics or choral lines or web or audio hooks and things like this. But it itself didn't come up with the concept of what it was writing it for. So for me, AI music is great as long as you understand the context of what it is. I think some of the fun parts I see is where people take some classic songs and change the music genre. It's fascinating to hear AC/DC sound like a blues song or something like that, where it's like you wouldn't think of it. But now that you're hearing it, it sounds really cool. Again, as long as you understand the sourcing of it, which is kind of what I'm saying with the AI and creativity being mutually exclusive or inclusive. As long as you're aware of the sourcing of how it was created, you can appreciate it for what it is. We're in this quasi moment now where we're still trying to see if we're getting tripped up or duped or deceived by, is that AI? Is it, is it real or is it Memorex? Hey, going back to an old slogan. And it distracts from the messaging sometimes. As we get better with AI's usage, that distraction will be less and less. The value of the message will become more and more. But creativity in what it created, I still believe is a human aspect of this. If you look at comparing AI and creativity from human, non-human, human strengths, things like intention, okay? AI has no concept of intention, nothing. There is no humanistic aspect of intention. Mathematically, you can create probabilities of action historically and take that and then put it into a math model for AI to use, and it can give a predictability, but it has no idea of intention. It has no idea of experience. It has no experiences. It has no tethered relationship. It has historical data, but those aren't experiences. Those are records of events. And experience is what those events happened, how they modified your perspective or how you perceive them, how you ingrained into your interpretation of those events. That experience relationship does not exist in AI. It only has historical events that can rely upon saying, when this happened, that happened then. Probability of that happening again, given similar circumstances that you're giving me, is XYZ. Pattern recognition. Now, this is where AI totally rocks. You may not see, out of a vast amount of data, patterns. We see over and over AI's capability of looking at and seeing, without diminishment, patterns. It doesn't get tired, doesn't see the same thing over and over and begins to blur the lines on similarities. It sees each as a comparative value and full, clear display. Why it's so helpful with medical discoveries and so forth is because it sees patterns, so forth. So it's exceptionally excellent. We're as humans, we're good at it. AI has his hands down better than us in that sense. Variation generation. Again, pattern based. When things are different than they were before, we can hear something different. We can see something different. We can catch that nuance. So I believe that we're good at this. Okay. But AI is exceptional at it. It can say one thing to the next and point out, those old comic strips that, 9 things are different between this picture and this picture, and they're almost identical except for those 9 things. In a heartbeat, AI sees it, these things. For us, we have, oh yeah. Okay. Um, Taste. Is it in good intent? Is it in good understanding? Is the concept of the message in good taste? Is it resonating in an emotional or connected way compared to what you intended it to be? Humans, of course, that's our forte. We all the subtle nuances of how we say what we say, the intonations of our voice, the words that we choose, the gestures that we use, if we're visually with the person, compared to AI's generation of these things. It may see a gesture as being related to the audio when in fact the gesture is not in good taste or is not relevant in the way of body communications. So it's limited. So from a perspective of taste of creativity and whether it's received in the way it's intended, humans are excelled at that, obviously. We're based on it compared to the limitations that AI has. Judgment. Is this good or bad? Is this right or wrong? AI produces what its parameters of request are based on the data that you give it to choose from. We've seen this over and over again with AI models that there's no filter to what it is. So bad AI models will pull whatever it feels relevant. And as we've seen in news and so forth, they begin to create their own validations and uh, political polarities and judgmental choices that have nothing to do with emotional connectivity or good taste or intention or anything. They're very limited as to what judgment there is in an ad or let alone other stuff. Speed, hands down, AI's got speed of what they function with. We're always impressed with how quickly and how expeditiously it creates what it is that we're asking about and the depth that it refers to the content for it. Emotional meaning. This is where the real hard line of the difference between AI is being exclusive or inclusive to creativity. There is no emotional meaning to AI creations. They don't understand, they being a plurality, I guess, it doesn't understand the emotional connectivity to what it has produced. It doesn't say, let me do this because emotionally it's more engaging to the recipient that I'm wanting it to be by creating this type of video, compared to a human that looks at it and going, that just looks too cold. You immediately read the body languages or the images or the audio or the gestures or the backdrops or the colors, the shadings, the items that are in the image, whatever it is, there's a disconnect of the emotion. Just think of a Hallmark movie. You think of the backdrops in these Christmas Hallmark movies. You know, the scenes are always painted the same. There's a cute bingo card about what you'll always find in a Hallmark show, but you know, the warmth of the place, the emotional tetheredness of why there's a fireplace in the middle of winter, the warmth of the emotional bonding of that, the Christmas decorations. AI will see that as a functionality that historically I've seen these decorations and images related to Christmas, so I'll place them into the ads that you're saying are Christmas related. But there's no understanding of why a nutcracker should be there versus a tree angel versus whatever, or whether or not it should be a different religion, or whether mixing them up inappropriately. You know, if you put Christmas stuff together and they're all in Hanukkah colors, it would seem odd to you. There's an emotional disconnect on what's being produced, and I think that's the real juxtaposition of the contrast of the inclusive or exclusive aspect of AI versus creativity. AI would not make the Amazon logo. It could, if you give it the proper parameters, replicate what it is you're asking, but the human would have to come up with that creative entendre of saying, I want something that represents multiple statements without having to say them word for word. A to Z. We have everything, even the phraseology, A to Z. That would have to be understood by AI to know what this inclusive value means by saying I have everything from A to Z. Soup to nuts, another kind of terminology, right? It would have to understand those things to even begin to consider them as ingraining them into the request of creating a logo like Amazon. I'm not just harboring on Amazon, okay? A lot of our emotional tethering to our ads and so forth, our jingles and slogans and so forth. We can hear songs or we can hear ads from our youth that the jingle, and we know every word immediately, can sing it immediately. We can hear the audio at the beginning of Looney Tunes, and and immediately you connect with it. That emotional tethering of things is absolutely unrelatable from an AI perspective of creativity. So where does this all land for us? AI, as the best way to look at it, is a tool, an augmentation. It is an extension. It is an adaptive use of our creativity. It's taking what's here and putting it into the context that we feel is most applicable with its assistance of its target value. How well best to go over and use our creative ideas with tools that help us not be limited by our ability to express them. That's where AI value come in. AI for all this stuff. Like we've been talking with the prescriptive modeling from last week's conversation, and shows prior to that where we talked about attribution modeling and data recognition and data usage, going from reportive to predictive to prescriptive. Using AI to help us understand at larger scale volume or interpretations and correlations, right, of contrasts of what it sees from variation and pattern recognition, using that skill of excellent that it has, exceptional that it has, really, as a tool that we aren't as good at, helping us be better at what we are as users in that sense. It goes to the creativity aspect where if I want to make a jingle, I don't know how to write the songs. I don't know how to make the proper lyrics in its entirety for harmonies and so forth. But with AI, I can, and I can express myself with music where I don't play an instrument. And to that end, I am a huge supporter of AI music. I'm also hugely against it if it's compared as equal to the origins of what has been written by humans, the emotional connectivity to it, the in-depth creativity of emotional tethering of what was written and the interpretive value of it. All of those things that AI can't do, I'm not saying it does. But now I have a tool that I can do what I like with it. Same too with image generation, video generation, script generation, storyboard generation, ad variations, expansion of current ads to be more robust in what I can do with them. A lot of times I had a still shot ad only, and I wish I had a better image to use. Now I can create an enhancement of that image that fits where I didn't have that choice before. All of now my photo shoot of my property that was generic in the sense that I spent a shoot ton of money to get glamour shots of my lobby, my rooms, my common areas, my porte-cochere, my building, whatever, and spent lots of money to make sure that they were visually as clear and beautiful as possible. I can now, it's a whole new fresh value with them. I can put in those things that I want that I didn't have. Like, man, I wish I had a great shot of my lobby when it's set up for Christmas. And until Christmas happens, and you can either spend the money to have it professionally done or take a shot and then have to clean it up as best as possible and use whatever you can get from a phone click from a staff member or whatever. Now I could take the glamour shot and make it Christmas. Now I don't have to diminish the quality and spend the time to make sure that it looks as close to and as natural as I expect it to be as the real thing. If I want my pool to have, which is taking the picture where there's nobody in it, which is always baffling to me because pools are supposed to be showing that they're a great place to be. And now I want people in it. I want people around it. Before, there used to be the problem where people would take pictures and they would doctor out the bad stuff. Oyster, the website for the longest time, would show the glamour picture versus the reality. You show this picture of a pool with an open view, and in fact, it was a pool and there's a wall of a building right next to it. Well, this is an improvement on that by saying, I want a shot with the pool with this demographic around it. And then I want a shot with the same pool with a different demographic around it because I'm going to use them for two different ads. And I want to resonate with the people that I'm sending it to. That empathy of seeing someone in similarity to you is a powerful motivator for marketing and sales. We know that. But you can't take, or it would be a huge expense to take a picture where you have models that you're paying and different demographics to say, okay, young couple with the 3 to 5, 7-year-olds. Okay, get around by the pool, take a picture. Okay, everybody stop, leave. Now the baby boomer over 55 or 60 couples or people get around the pool. Let's take a picture. Click. Can't do that. There's no reality to that. But now AI, I can. But that's not AI being creative. That's AI being adaptive. That's AI being an augmentation to the creator of saying, I need this. This is why I need it. If I want to make an ad that looks like Amazon, I can go over and say, okay, here's my letters, puff them up, thin them up, make them taller, make them skinnier, make them wider, make them shorter. Put a line between here and there. Make this look like a smiley face with that. Okay. You can make the AI make something, but you can't go to AI and say, this is what I want, and it creatively does it. It'll interpret, look at historical data, interpret what it is you're asking, and with maybe a couple of more additional prompt requirements, we'll keep adapting what it is that it's providing for you until you feel good enough with what it was. But that creative process isn't the inspiration from AI. AI is the adaptive to what you were wanting to create from the beginning. You can't go to AI and say, hey, I want a logo that does this for me. It won't create the Amazon logo for you. I really am stuck on the Amazon logo. It's just one of those better ones that, has that entendre to it that people go, oh, look. And there's lots of other ones. There's a whole list of them, actually. But the one that stuck with me the most is Amazon's one. So anyways, that is my conversation of today, is the whole aspect of AI and creativity, mutually exclusive or inclusive. I would say that at the end of this, it's mutually exclusive in the purest of what creativity is. It's inclusive, running in parallel, when used in combination to the humanistic value of what creative means in the sense of inspiration, emotional tetheredness, and connectivity to what it is that you're creating. So, as always, our show will be recast 11:30 a.m. Wednesday morning, Sydney, Australian time, and London time for our APAC and EU Mideast friends. So if you missed this now, and even though it's being watched, but thank you so much, around the world, and I'm always, as I said, impressed with the time zones that watch it at this time live. You can catch the replay for it. It'll be, of course, on our hospitalitychannel.tv website. If you want to catch the show on your mobile phones, you can go to Google Play or Apple iOS and download the Hospitality Channel app. The live show is always on it, along with our pay gateway for the TV channel. If you want to reach out to me at any time for comments, suggestions, feedback, what have you, please reach out to Lauren at hospitalitydigitalmarketing.com. The show is also audio recasted on our Hospitality Radio. The TV show goes to 209 countries. We translate it in 11 languages, subtitled. And then we also have the radio station, which is in 39 countries. And that is a linear programming. We have content from a variety of great sources that cover sales, marketing, obviously, operations, human resources, accounting, just lots of fun stuff, great sources of information for all of that. So with that, my name is Lauren Gray. I thank you for the privilege of your time and look forward to talking to you all next week.